In a major shakeup, front page of today's This Day newspaper, Nigeria's newspaper of record, with headlines everywhere. President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria has removed Mele Kyari as a group chief executive officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and dissolved its board effective today, April 2nd, 2025. According to a statement from Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president on information strategy, the overhaul aims to improve operational efficiency, investor confidence, and commercial viability. Bayo Ojulari has replaced Mele Kyari as Group CEO, while Amadou Musa Kida becomes non-executive chair. Adedapo Segun has been appointed as the Chief Financial Officer. 6 non-executive directors from Nigeria's geopolitical zones have also been appointed. This restructuring is part of President Tinubu's plan to reposition the NNPC for greater productivity and global best practices. Speaking of best practices, impressive results from Fidelity Bank PLC for the 2024 fiscal year. There are the numbers there. Gross earnings at ₦1 trillion, 87% growth. Net interest income, 127% growth there, 629 billion. Total assets rising 41% to ₦8 trillion. Pre-tax profit, 210% growth, 385 billion. Profit after tax, 278 billion there. And let's get to the CBN net FX reserves. That's also making the news. Big headline also on the front page of today's This Day newspaper. 23.1 billion for 2024, 3.9 from 2023. It was 8.1 billion in 2022, 14.5 in 2021. So again, a 3-year high, and that's the graphical representation there. Who better to talk banking and oil and gas than Arise business analyst Chika Mbonu, who is with us in the studio. Good morning, Chika, and thank you for making it to the studio. Because
I don't know what happened to Lagos today.
Oh, the traffic is just...
We'll take for almost 20 minutes to get here.
Goodness. So some exercise there, early Wednesday morning.
It's like a Christmas boat.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. What do you make of this shakeup?
NNPC. There comes a time in the tide of man, That's what has the beginning has an end. And then, Mele Kyari has come, he has seen, he's conquered, We've done... From the very serious in this program to the comical.
Of course.
Remember the time I talked about his hat?
Yes, when he made that promise.
The promise on the Product Refinery coming on stream.
Before Buhari leaves office.
Yeah, before he leaves, multiple times. Yeah. Before Q1, before Q2, and before June, and then those didn't happen. I mean, he had his good sides. I mean, to be on his record that he was one that moved NNPC from the NNPC former to the NNPC Limited.
Yes.
So nobody will take that from him.
And give us the first earnings.
Give us the first earnings, positive earnings, audited results of NNPC. So we'll talk about that. But we've always said that the national oil companies worldwide, they control more than half of the oil business worldwide. Yeah. When you talk about Aramco, when you talk about Petrobras of Brazil, Rosneft of Russia, so many of them, they control that. And when they publish that NNPC result, and again we put it aside beside the Aramco result,
big difference.
Aramco did I think 2024 about 489 billion in sales, dollars in sales, compared to our own, So you find that it's very paltry. But that's why we have always believed that NNPC national asset that has been undersweated. Yeah. And we believe that, so for me, the era of job for the boys is over. The era of the president paying a political price or saying thank you to those who helped him to get there is over. And I'm being positive about Nigeria. My friends always say I'm very positive about Nigeria. And I believe that the president is very serious about turning NNPC into what it should be to compete favorably, like on the same platform with Aramco and the other international oil companies. Yeah. And so if you go through the objectives of the enhancing operational efficiency, it talks about, when your tenure ends and they bring a new person and start telling you the new person will enhance operational efficiency, restore investor confidence. It means that investor confidence was low during your time. Boosting local content. It means that something was wrong with local content. And then driving economic growth. It means also that you are lethargic. So these are the mandates that have been given to the new people. Yeah. Now, I'm very emphatic about NNPC, new NNPC.
Okay.
And let me put it this way: what are the critical success factors for a company that really wants to, turn around? and then they compete out there. One of the first ones is that a very competent, independent board.
Yes.
A very competent, independent board. Now, if you look at the board that the president has selected, these are people who have earned their stripes in the private sector. They're not coming there for a job for the boys or, something about their constituency or stuff like that. These are people who have, who have international friends. And so I don't think they want to fail. So competent international board that is in place. Yeah. The next one is a very competent management, accountable management. Now again, we'll have it there. Look at the new managing director of NNPC. He managed SNEPCO, to the highest level, the CFO, everybody. So these are private sector-led people who are not playing politics and who believe that if they're given the free hand, which is the next critical success factor, the free hand, the owners of the business not playing politics, letting optimal decisions be taken to run the business. Make sure that this like our commonwealth is protected and given us to what the country deserves, and then things will happen. So I believe in that. You don't need to go far to look at. If you look at NLNG,
you talk about that a lot.
Private sector led, and that has been saved Nigeria several times because the amount of dividends are pouring into the country. NNPC cannot be less than that. And we believed and hoped that they didn't read in the financial press last week about they're doing their IPO, that this new board will take on that and make sure that comes into play. And so, and the other thing that is critical for a company that wants to turn around is what I call way-driven budgets and targets. So in this one, the president has told them, first one is strategic portfolio review. Because we knew that NNPC suddenly became an accumulator of assets.
Right.
Every asset that became available, NNPC will grab and then put it there, and they were not sweating the assets. So I have a feeling that this new board and management team will review that, and once they review that, they'll be able to come up with the assets that are balance their books and focus on. And those that are not optimal, they will let them go. Okay. And the other thing also has to do with, raise oil production to 2 million barrels to 2027.
And vandalism.
And then vandalism, 3 million barrels a day to 2030. Gas, 8 million cubic feet 2027, 10 billion. So the targets have been given to this management team. And we, as analysts outside here, we hold them accountable to this. To deliver. Yes.
Positive. Thank you for that. Let's get to the CBN. What do you make of this updates on net expert?
Very interesting something. I mean, I wish our people would put up those numbers. Yeah. Very interesting something. They call it net reserves. For our viewers, simply put, it just means that a Rotus is going around saying that he has 10 million naira in his account. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's owing his vendor, he's owing his suppliers, he's owing salaries of his staff, he's owing so many. But so it's not really worth 10 million naira. Right. So on a net basis, so Nigeria pushes out there, our reserve is $40 billion. Yeah. But on a net basis, because we have forward commitments, we have swaps, and so on and so forth. If you net it basis, you have about 23 billion. Now, we didn't know. I mean, analysts like us knew that, but the nation didn't know that. And this was as low as $4 billion in 2023. Yeah. Those locust years of President Buhari, when anything was going in Nigeria, I mean, you could see how low the thing was. And so we're happy that this reserve has come to this level now. But of course, that due to deliberate, intentional actions that led it to where it is now.
Cardoso
and his team. Yeah. I mean, first of all, the issues of swaps and forwards have been let go. And so the professionally run things now. We live by our means. Now, the other thing also, there have been intentional, deliberate policies to, entice diaspora remittances into our country, foreign portfolio investors into our country. And all these things are create to the reserve, and then, of course, God's gift to us, oil.
You talked about just now.
I keep talking about NNPC. I talk about it on this program. This God's gift to us, that we should just coddle it and make sure preserve it and show that everything will just be coming there and going to our reserves. Yeah. That has also helped us, But it's a more discipline that's there now, more management of resources. If you don't have money, you manage the one that you have. So there's a more focused management of the foreign reserves in Central Bank of Nigeria now under Cardoso and his team. And that's why we'll have this. $23 billion gives you a little more confidence on a net basis than $4 billion we had in 2023.
All right, business analyst Chika Mbono. Appreciate your insights as always, Chika. Thank you so much for your time.